What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the O'Shea Vlogcast. I am your host, O'Shea, back with my boy from Sagtown, but now living in the ATL. Search for Uhuru. What's up? What's up, player?
What's up, O'Shea?
What's good, man? Good to have you back, man. You've been on here many times.
Thank you. Thank you for
Glad.
having me.
No problem, man. Glad to have you back, man. Today we're gonna talk to something a little bit different. I mean, typically when you come on, we talk more about the Black diaspora as it relates to Black people all over, not just in America. And one of the things we talk about is the prospect of going to Africa and seeing Africa. And then this topic today that we wanted to discuss was romanticizing about Africa but never going. Now, there are a lot of Black people always talking about red, black, and green and Black empowerment and Africa is our home, but these niggas have never been, don't have any interest in going. What made you choose this particular topic today?
I don't know. I've joined a couple of travel pages on Facebook, and there's this cat talking. He made a post about how if you haven't been to Russia, you're missing out. And you see stuff like that all the time. Like if you haven't been to this European country, you're missing out. You haven't been to this place in Central America, you're missing out, posted by Black people. And I'm just like, why never, you rarely see a Black person saying, hey, if you haven't been to Ghana, or if you haven't been to Uganda, or if you haven't been to Congo, you're missing out. But the majority of Black people that have the opportunity to travel, they romanticize about every other country or continent but Africa. Or like you said, you have a lot of Black people, who red, black, and green, who honestly, and a lot of them get offended by this, they rather fantasize about Africa, and instead of putting their dough and investing in a ticket to go to Africa, they would rather spend that money on alkaline kale shakes and alkaline water and couscous wraps and all this other overpriced food, and they romanticize about Africa on the side. So, that's kind of what inspired me to come up with this topic today.
All right, let me kind of throw you for a loop real quick. I was talking to a brother who is Nigerian. Won't call his name, but he knows who he is. And I was and actually lives in Atlanta now. So shout out to him. He actually watches your videos too. He's like, man, link me up with Dynas, because he watches your channel now due to you coming on here. And one of the things he said was, when you go to Africa, it's just in some cities complete chaos. There's not, like, for example, I've been wanting to go to Uganda for a while, and it's just congested cities, lack of basic necessities that you're used to in the first world, slow internet, these things. And when I compared Lagos against Atlanta, he was like, man, I hate Atlanta, but dude, Lagos is like, nowhere on the map, anywhere in comparison. So we were talking about the New York City of Africa, and a place like this lacks a lot of basic necessities, or those things are even more expensive there. A lot of people get discouraged about going to Africa because these things cost more money to go, and there's just not the infrastructure there for those things. What do you say to those people who have that point of view?
It just depends on where you go. Like me, I enjoy more of the rural areas, but there are certain parts of each city in Africa where if you're looking for fast Wi-Fi access or necessities like that, they have them. They have everything in every city. It's just when you're comparing places like New York with Lagos, it's really not an apples and apples comparison. The reason why, I know people in New York, yeah, you might have fast Wi-Fi, but they don't have cars. New York is heavily congested. They have to catch cabs. They're renting a bedroom in a 2-bedroom apartment, and they're paying like $1,400–1,500 a month. So it's just it's hard to compare it, because again, if you want the fast Wi-Fi, if you want the exclusion where you don't have to deal with the congestion of large major cities, I mean, you can have that in Africa. It's just you have to go to those places, and they're there. You know, Lagos is very congested, but I mean, go to Abuja. You know what I mean? There's more than one city in Nigeria if you're looking for an African experience. So when I go to Africa, I for the most part avoid the large major cities. And I go to, you know, the more rural, I go to the countryside because I like the village hop. And obviously in the villages, a lot of times there's no Wi-Fi, but I enjoy that. But at the same time, I want to stay at the sexy Hilton hotel, you know, or the Marriott. I mean, there's a Hilton and a Marriott in every city, major city in Africa, where you'll have access to fast Wi-Fi. Then by all means, you know, stay at the Hilton hotel where you'll have fast access to Wi-Fi. So it's just a misconception. I mean, everything you want in America, you can get in Africa if you're willing to pay for it.
Okay. Well, so then let's kind of take the conversation to another section. You know, people maybe may not want to go to Africa for fear of, let's say, they think that they may get robbed, or they feel that they may be scammed, or they think that African people are just poor. They won't have access to certain things. It's just too far. It costs too much money. What do you say to people like that?
I mean, me and you were talking today, and so my round trip ticket, well, we just were talking earlier about as far as ticket prices from America or Europe to Africa. I know you said you found one round trip for what, $950 from Warsaw to Kampala, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I found a ticket, my ticket from Newark, New Jersey to Togo, which I'll be going in January, was $776. So you could find relatively inexpensive tickets. I think a round trip ticket to Africa, if you could find a round trip ticket for less than $1,000, that's an excellent deal. As far as the whole crime thing, I've never had any issues. I mean, the majority of us who lived in cities like New York, Chicago, Atlanta, I mean, the majority of African cities are more safe than the majority of cities that we live in here in America. I've never had any issues. I've never been held up at gunpoint. And then also too, me personally, I just think there's, in this day and time, with the amount of access we have as far as to the information through the internet, there's no excuse for people to be this ignorant. I mean, all you have to do is look something up online. You can reach out to somebody on your Facebook page or whatnot, or I mean, there's a ton of groups and pages that you can reach out to people and ask specific questions. But if you're using the excuse of, oh, I might get robbed, or oh, Africa's too expensive, and you've done absolutely no research, or you're going off of hearsay, off from, you know, the media that's biased towards Africa anyway, then you're just being ignorant. Because again, it's just too much access to information through a freaking smartphone. Where's my phone at? Through a freaking smartphone and through the your laptop to really get the truth on Africa and what's really going on. So that's one of the purposes of my page, is to really present the truth on Africa instead of what we've been shown for so long.
Well, okay, if these people who know they have no interest in going to Africa, and they're always talking about, you know, we come from Africa, Africa is the motherland, Africa is this, Africa is that. Why do these fucking people waste their time talking about Africa so damn much? If, you know, why won't they just come out and say, you know, I want to go to Paris, I want to go to London. And there's so many people, for example, like if I talked to this one person from Brazil that lives in Salvador, and that person said if she goes to Africa, she wants to go. This is like a year or two ago. She says that she wants to go to South Africa. That, you know, she's not interested in it because like South Africa is very developed and stuff like that. So that, you know, you never hear people saying, I want to go to Liberia, I want to go to Sierra Leone, I want to go to Chad or Niger, or even, you never hear people saying, I want to go to these places. They will only mention, maybe, South Africa or Egypt or Morocco or someplace where it's very developed already and it has infrastructure. Why can't these people just be honest and say, you know what, fuck it, I can't, I don't want to do that. I have no interest in going to Africa. Why can't they say that?
I think they just want to save face, because you have to think about it. If someone says, I don't want to go to Lagos, or I don't want to go to Africa in general because I don't feel safe, but they're running to the Dominican Republic, they're running to freaking Jamaica, they're running to Brazil, which is probably more dangerous, they're contradicting themselves. So I just think they want to put up this front that they are about Africa, but their intentions, they really don't want to go because they're caught up in the stereotypes. But again, it's those people like, oh, I don't want to go to Africa because it's not safe, but I'm gonna go to Jamaica, or I'm gonna go to Dominican Republic, where literally when you go to or I want to go to Mexico, where literally if you go to like a resort in Cancun, they'll tell you, do not leave the resort and go to the city because it's not safe. I mean, and this is all over. Same thing with Brazil. Do not go to this part of town because it's not safe. Hold your bag. Little kids are robbing and stealing people and robbing people at gunpoint. But they will still go to Brazil, but they would try to use that excuse to not go to Africa. It's just they're contradicting themselves. Mm-hmm. And again, I just think it's the kind of save face, like, yeah, I'm all about Africa, but I'm not gonna go because it's not safe. Well, damn, weren't you just in Brazil? Yeah, but that was different. Nah, so they're just, again, trying to save face, trying to pretend there's something that they're not, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So I guess what I want to say, in such a position, why do you think that people would rather go to? I mean, with all things being equal, you go to Jamaica, you spend a lot of money in certain things, and I mean certain things such as resorts. Puerto Plata is expensive, and certain places like this, and not Puerto Plata, but what's the other part of Dominican Republic that a lot of people go? Where all the casinos are.
I'm not sure. I really, like, if I go to that part of the world,
right? So you have all of these expensive, fucking places that people, go to. And with that same money, they can go to Africa. Dominican Republic is dangerous. So is Jamaica. Why can't people take that particular money and, go to Africa and experience the continent versus, the other stuff?
Again, because you have to look how the Dominican Republic's portrayed on TV versus Africa. And it's just Black people suffer from, they believe, we claim to be smart and educated, a lot of us, college educated and all this other stuff, but we still believe everything we see on TV. So when you think of Mexico or Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, you think of the beaches, the sun, hot chicks, and all of that. But when you see the way Africa is stereotyped, it's don't go, you're gonna get robbed, pollution, it's not safe, hungry kids, etc., etc. But all of that is also in Dominican, Puerto Rico, and etc. So again, it's the media, and just Black people refuse to take the time out and actually research it. I mean, you got places like Zanzibar, which makes Dominican Republic and Jamaica and Puerto Rico look whack. I mean, Zanzibar is freaking beautiful as far as the beaches and food and culture or whatnot. I mean, even if you could go to Cape Town, even though I'm not a big fan of South Africa, because South Africa, for the most part, is America. I mean, you could go to Seychelles. There's another island. You go to Cape Verde. I mean, there's a ton of places in Africa that, I mean, are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, where you can get everything you want, like in the Dominican Republic times 100. But again, it's just Black people are just caught up in the negative narrative that's painted on by the media about Africa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let's talk about, I know you said this a lot of times, in particular in your visits here, to this particular channel. You talked about that even you never really thought about, going to Africa. You wanted to go to Brazil.
Right.
So let's talk about like that in particular, and kind of how you went on that in particular, and how you're able to think about it now, looking back in hindsight.
I was on my way to Brazil. I was planning on going to Rio. The person that was going to be my guide or my host, she backed out last minute. And then I was talking to a buddy of mine who's been to Zanzibar, Tanzania several times. He said, dude, Dinah, you need to go to Tanzania. You're missing out. And so I literally did some research on Zanzibar and saw that it was absolutely beautiful. I'm like, oh man, I got to go experience this for myself. So I went. And then, usually what I do when I'm in Africa, I'll just research other places in Africa to go to for my next trip. And that's how I usually decide where I'm going to go. So, last year when I was in Benin, I was like, let me do some research. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Togo next year since I'm already in Benin. Also, when I was in Benin, I was researching Gabon. So next year, I'm going to go to Gabon and to some other places. So that's how I do it. Again, we have access to the internet. Just type in African beaches or African resorts if that's what you're looking for, if you want that Dominican, Puerto Rican experience. And you'll have a list of different countries and places that will pop up where you can go to. So, but the start is just typing the shit in and not falling for the false narrative.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What did you see that was different, when you first got to Africa? And your first trip was to Zanzibar, right?
Tanzania, yes, correct. Well, Zanzibar is Tanzania, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, and shout out to King Demetrius. Damn, King Demetrius got a hell of money. Thank you, bro, for the $50 super chat. I just didn't even see that. Appreciate your player. When you got to Tanzania initially, and you got to Zanzibar, what was the experience? Because a lot of brothers have never been such a place, and probably don't know what's there, what it's all about. Describe Zanzibar for the brothers if you can, and what it looks like, and what the feel is like.
Let me do this. I actually O'Shea, can I post links in the live chat?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, let me I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna post a link of me touring like Zanzibar. I'm gonna post that, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. You have Stone Town, which is the somewhat the capital city of Zanzibar. And then you have the beaches. I went to Nungwi, a couple beaches, but I think the video would kind of do it more justice, where they just they could see it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, man, my internet is tripping, man. Like I don't. Yeah, it'll come up, but I'll make sure I'll post it in the actual chat. Let me open up a new window.
Okay. Go ahead. What you gotta do?
I'll do it that way, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I recommend. If you have the opportunity to go, by all means, just freaking go. Let's see here. Search. Yeah, I'll put this in here real quick. But yeah, I think the video will actually hold on, I'm gonna post this in here right now. I know last time I had some issues posting in the chat. Let's see here. Page. Yeah, it's saying I can't. Oops, remove any web addresses and try again. Like it won't let me post it. Links.
I'll post it. Send it to me, and I can put it in the description.
Okay, all right. I'll email it to you.
Yeah, and we can get it. So what I mean, like what did it look? I mean, what did Zanzibar look like? You know, in your opinion, when you first got there, what was your initial kind of thought?
The people were friendly as hell. The food was good and the best outside of Senegal, probably the best food I've ever had. It's affordable. I stay at a bed and breakfast called Stonetown Bed and Breakfast where the food is good, comfortable. You have the culture. It's like a mixture of African, Arab, and Indian. Like a mix somewhat. Beautiful women. The women there are absolutely gorgeous. Zanzibar is a more of a Islamic, has a heavy Islamic influence. So me personally, I love women in hijabs. I don't know why, it's a turn on to me. So they would dress up, they have on their nice hijabs, and dress down to a T. I mean, that turns me on. Like I'm over the whole half naked shit. I can't. I'm over it. I'm over it. So. Yeah, but it's just absolutely, it's beautiful.
Okay. So you definitely enjoyed yourself.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I've been 3 times. If I didn't enjoy myself, I would have gone back.
Three times. So what years did you go actually?
I went 2000 and I guess that'd be 2011, 2012, and 2014.
Damn, you did go a lot.
Yeah, so I've been there 3 times.
Okay, so you've been there 3 times. Okay. I guess what else let's see, for this particular chat, let me see if there are people that are in the chat that want to ask any questions. You can do so. This particular podcast, this is a special podcast that we're doing as an educational one. Let me go ahead and promote Search for Uhuru's channel here in the particular channel here. Let's go down, brothers, to we'll see.
A lot of people have been.
Oh shit! So go down, subscribe. North Star King Demetrius. If you guys see him there, basically you can go and subscribe to his channel here at the bottom. Okay, so search for Uhuru on YouTube. Okay, and I have the video and question that he wants you guys to see. Oh, the videos actually. So let me go ahead and put these in the description. So for those of you who want to, read these, or not read, but definitely watch these particular videos, go into the description and you will be able to see them. All right, let me go ahead and do that right now. Let's see.
Yeah, because I just don't understand why people, especially Black people, how we romanticize everywhere but Africa, and then the excuses that are given as far as this romanticism with everything outside of Africa. Like, so, you'll hear Black people say, well, Africans don't like Black Americans. Africans, when they come to America, don't like Black Americans. And then I'm like, okay, well, the majority of immigrants that come to America don't like Black Americans, but that doesn't stop you guys from running up under them, I mean, serious. So you'll have Dominicans, all right, jet black, like look like Sammy Sosa, who would tell you that I'm not Black, I'm Dominican, and will tell you that the reason why they don't identify as being Black is because they don't want to identify with Black people. And it's like, look, you're jet black, nappy hair of African descent. What are you talking about? Yeah. And they'll tell the Black Americans, like, look, we don't want to identify with you guys, so we're Dominican. Right. But that doesn't stop Black people from going to the Dominican Day Parade and chasing Dominican tail and wanting to take trips to Dominican Republic. But then when it comes to Africans, they'll use that petty excuse. So Africans don't like us. They say we don't have any culture, and they don't want to affiliate with Africans. So I don't know. It's backwards to me. Because every immigrant, the majority of immigrants feel that way about Black Americans, but we still run up under them in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this: what do you think would happen if more Black people did go to Africa? What do you think their experience would be if we were to do that? What changes these? Let's say for a country like I want to go to Uganda. Let's say if you have 100,000 more Black people taking vacations in Africa, how would that transform a country like Uganda or a country like Tanzania?
I think I think just as far as tourism, as far as revenue, it would help Tanzania out. But also too, I think the actual conversation or dialogue as far as Africans and African Americans really, the diaspora really linking up and working together, I think it will be taken more seriously if we just made the effort as far as just to go over there. And I hear a lot of people saying, well, Africans don't reach out to us. They don't come to us. But again, no one comes to us, and you guys still run up under everybody that doesn't like us. So, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I think Africans will be more open to actually having a conversation where African Americans and Africans could have a mutual relationship where the collective benefits and some type of mutual agreement versus anybody else that has been pretty open about how they don't want to deal with Black Americans, but we still run up under them.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. I agree. And I've also been critical of certain particular Africans on this channel also. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I have not done so. But let's talk about. Obviously, I have a Junk Pile video here in the chat. So shout out to him. I know he's been to many different places. Let's talk about. Again, one of my things is always discussing some of the possibilities, kind of what ifs. Now, for example, a country like Uganda, where you have a lot of people in congested cities, you have a booming population, but the city itself cannot expand, the roads cannot expand. And so, now you're looking to move maybe the capital to another city. Problems like this that we do see in many African countries. I know, like Lagos, they made it. I mean, Nigeria made a great move, and when they established Abuja as the kind of the business center of Nigeria due to a booming population. What can countries like like Uganda, let's say countries like Tanzania, countries like the Congo. Well, I can't really say Congo, they're a francophone country. But what can these countries do that are already expanding, with birth rates, and they don't have these necessities in place? What can they do to make it more interesting for maybe Black American expats to want to come live there, to bring their skill to their country and get out of the matrix?
I think the same thing. I mean, this is the thing. I think a lot of Black expats are going to have to actually research Africa, see the opportunities there, and then offer some type of product or service, somewhat like what the Chinese are doing. I mean, the Chinese saw the opportunity, they reached out, they offered their services, and now you have a lot of business between China and Africa. Same thing with Black Americans. If you have some type of resource, if you have some type of skill or product, you have to reach out, go to the embassies, reach out to individuals over there, and then start from there. But I just think the first step is just to actually take a trip to a country you're interested in. And then once you get on the ground, you can ask questions and people will guide you in the right direction. So I think the first step is just actually seeing an opportunity, going over there, offering your product or service, and then going from there.
Okay, so really what we're talking about is skilled blacks, right? Because if a black person is going to move to a place like Uganda, where there's no such thing as 401k or Social Security or something like that, we're talking about probably now the most talented of black people going there, right? If they're going to make that move, because the average person who might not be so skilled, they may want to visit Africa, but without a particular skill, how can they contribute? You understand?
I think everyone has some type of skill they don't know about. I mean, so for example, customer service. I mean, you could go to Africa right now, link up with a lot of these companies and say, hey, I will train your employees on customer service if they're in some type of industry that deals with a lot of business consumer interaction, as far as like restaurants, etc. So someone has a skill. Like me, if I were to go to Africa, it would since I'm in sales, it would be to train sales forces in Africa. So I would train your sales force. That's what I would do. So everyone has some type of skill. They just don't know about it because they think, well, here in America, I'm somewhat average, but your average skill in another country, in Africa, can help out a lot of people. So, there's all types of opportunities and skills that people might think they don't have that they have.
So then, for a person that's enterprising and wanting to do, certain or test out these skills, how can a person figure out? I mean, because here's like for me, example, right? I came to Poland to study medicine. And then, I mean, I knew that I could run a blog before, so I tried it and failed. But given the opportunity, put in a situation where I'm like, yo, if I don't do this, like after my loans run out, I'm not going to be able to stay in Europe. And I really wanted to stay in Europe. And it's interesting because after 2018, my medical school lost its U.S. loans because 2 people didn't pass step 1. So the last year, if I'm not enterprising enough, then it's very possible what I'm going to end up doing is taking Sally Mae or transferring to another school. But when I came here, I was like, well, okay, I didn't know I was good at YouTube. I didn't know that I could run a website to the efficiency that I do it now. So I think that under the pressure of me being here in a foreign place, made me, step up to the plate. But here's the thing. A place like Poland, it's considered the second world, but I do have very fast internet, man. I have 600 megabits per second. I just paid my utilities, water, gas, electricity, and this is I'm gonna tell you guys this. February, March, April, May. My utilities for 4 months was $113. I'm gonna say that again. $113 for February, March, April, May. That was water, gas, and electricity. That's what my utilities were. So it was very easy for me to put out a lot of videos, upload them, save up a lot of money to buy a MacBook Pro or to buy a mic and produce podcasts and turn this into an internet business. A place like, and I'm just trying to stump you here, a place like, maybe Nigeria, maybe Benin, maybe Tanzania. Maybe I don't have the opportunity to get into something to show my skill because they don't have the setup for me to do it. What do you say to somebody like that once again, even jump out videos because of this, hey, I'm very good at computers. I'm very good at computer business, but in Nairobi, Kenya, because of the infrastructure is not there, I can't really display some of my skills because the infrastructure for somebody like me is not built there yet.
Whoa, in Nairobi, Kenya?
Well, he says in Kenya, he doesn't live in Nairobi, but I think he was talking about maybe living in Mombasa. But I think he said something to that effect before, previously, where his skill set is not so demanded as it is there as it is in the States. I guess
what skill set?
He's actually in the chat here. So let me see what he because maybe he might come on and explain because I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was just giving an example that the infrastructure to do the kind of stuff that he would like to do is not so set up there as it is to be more effective. In the price to do business, well, Dr. Stanislaw says Kenya has got some of the best internet connectivity.
I've been in Nairobi 3 times, and the internet in Nairobi is very effective, very fast.
How fast is it?
Again, I put it like this: I had no issues. Like if I'm crashing with somebody at somebody's house, sometimes in Senegal, like I can't upload my YouTube videos. But when I was at my friend's house in Nairobi, I was able to upload my YouTube videos. That's how I base it on. I really don't know the speed, but I just know like if I'm at a friend's house, like my friend in the car in Senegal, the internet isn't that fast where I could, upload all my YouTube videos. I have to go to like a cafe or to a hotel versus in Nairobi at my friend's house, I was uploading my YouTube videos, no problem. So that's how I look at it. I was able to function in Nairobi as far as operating my YouTube page here like I was in America, like if I'm in America.
Okay.
That's how
Fair enough. Let's not say Kenya. Let's say another place. I know this is not Africa, but let's say Haiti. Let's say Monrovia, Liberia. Let's just say Freetown, Sierra Leone. Let's say Gambia. Let's say well, you already said Senegal. Those sorts of places, Niger, these places. What about a person like that, enterprising, but they can't get in the industry that they want to get in because they just don't have the facilities to do it?
Again, it's all about the money you have to invest. I mean, the resources are there. It's just, are you willing to pay for those resources?
Okay, let's talk about that. You make a good point. Now, Dr. Perry Stanislaw, shout out to him from London. He has written at least 2 articles on the Nego Manosphere site. He says, where Kenya, I'm there quite often. Internet connectivity is fast in Kenya. Let's say I agree. All right. But now we're talking about high-speed internet in Kenya is going to cost you 4 to 5 times the amount that it does cost you, like in Poland, for example. I have Orange internet, 600 megabits per second, and right now with the current exchange rate, I am paying $29.07 a month. I don't even think you can even get dial up for that price. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that I think maybe you're probably at least for the minimum, you're talking about 50 or 60 bucks to get that kind of internet speed. And then I don't know about Kenya. I don't know if there's a cost to do electricity. I don't know if the electricity goes in and out, if you need generators. If anybody has been to, if anybody's been to Kenya, is it necessary for particular generators? Like, do you need a generator in some parts of Kenya?
I mean, in some parts probably, but if you're in the city like Nairobi, you don't need a generator. I didn't have any issues with electricity. In fact, I haven't had any issues with electricity in general. I mean, in Zanzibar, there were a couple of power outages, but that would be because it was storm. Mm-hmm. But as far as these, like, I guess that's just a Lagos thing in Nigeria with these rolling power outages. But I haven't had any huge rolling power outage issues in Africa. My travels.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's take into, and I'm just trying to stump you because actually, I'm a big supporter of wanting to go, wanting to do things, make things happen. But let's just try to stump you if we can. because I say we have the cost of doing business is more expensive for internet. We may need some generator things, stuff like that. And then the profitability of a business may or may not be so high there. Is it worth it for somebody, let's say, with your skill set or somebody else's, who will go to Africa and pay more money to use high-speed internet, more money maybe to use electricity, more money to use water just to have a business there?
Yeah, but you might pay more for internet and electricity, but you're, I guess, I don't like. Let me ask you this, O'Shea. Do you stay in a dorm or do you stay in an apartment?
I stay in an apartment. I stay in an
Like,
apartment.
how much do you pay a month for your apartment? Roughly?
This the current exchange rate. I pay $616 a month.
And what is it, like a one bedroom, two bedroom?
This
Or,
is this room and another is one bedroom.
so it's a one bedroom.
Yeah.
You gotta understand, like a one bedroom, you can find decent one bedroom apartments in certain cities, major cities in Africa for like 300, $400. So the money that you'll save in good areas. So the money that you'll save in your living arrangement, they'll kind of average out because you're right. You'll probably pay a little bit more for internet. You might pay a little bit more for electricity, but your rooming is less expensive. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, man. I guess what I want to ask now, and let me do this to see if we have anybody in the chat. O'Shea can talk to aliens with that connection. O'Shea, I started my business. I am not trading as we are testing our equipment to see how it works in East Africa. Startup cost is much cheaper depending on the areas of business. Okay, let's talk about doing business in Africa. Because I know that Forbes, and I don't know how true this is, Forbes came out with particular listing of easiest places to do business. And they rank this off of how fast it would take you to get electricity in this place, how fast you can get certain other things, certain licenses and stuff like that. And in Africa, outside of certain places, African countries are typically some of the hardest places to do business. Now, I don't know how true this is, but let me just give you some of the rankings, okay? The best country to do business, according to Forbes, is Sweden, then New Zealand, Hong Kong, then Ireland, then the UK, Denmark, Netherlands, Finland, okay? Now, if I go down to, so South Africa is 48. Jamaica is even 53. Okay, it's not an African country, but, and then we start getting into, there's Cape Verde, and none of those places are really considered, okay, so 78, Rwanda. So Rwanda is very promising in the top 100. 81, Senegal. But when we start getting 90, Ghana, 96, Liberia, 100, Benin, 105, Kenya, 106, Cote d'Ivoire, 107, Uganda, 109, Mali, 110, Sierra Leone, 113, Mozambique, 120, Nigeria, 119, Malawi, 121, Burundi, 122, Tanzania, 125, Mauritania. Well, Mauritania is a joke, but Gabon. We have Cameroon, 128, 129 Bolivia, 130 Ethiopia. Okay, 132 Zimbabwe. All right, so you see these rankings out of 2016, and they rank these on several factors. Certain how to get especially electricity, certain debt. Let me actually do this. Population. Why looking at these numbers and looking at a lot of the corruption that you're probably looking to deal with. You're looking at the average earning of people that are there. You're looking at the innovation. You're looking at investor protection. You're looking at the tax burden. You're looking at the market performance. Why would I want to open up a business in Africa when you have all of these things, corrupt governments, you have governments that won't develop the roads, governments that can't develop certain things for their people, healthcare is bad. You know, why should I overlook that and still think about that?
I mean, again, it just depends on the opportunity. I mean, sometimes the opportunity will be, well, it would just make sense. As far as like healthcare, you know, I mean, unless you get, I mean, there are good hospitals in Africa. I mean, if you have the right price, I would say this: Africans, for the most part, are more healthy because they don't eat a lot of bullshit. Everything is fresh. As far as roads, it just really depends on where you're situated in the city. I mean, you look at a place like New York. I mean, traffic is crazy and congested. You look at places like LA, traffic is crazy and congested. So it's just it just depends on what you're doing, where you're setting up. It's just a lot of factors that involve making a decision to do business in Africa. It's not just one factor. Because again, like what I do as far as sales, when my guys deliver, you know, to a specific company here in Atlanta, they can kind of just pull up to the back, pull up to the front of the business. But, you know, I'm saying to myself, like, how in the hell are they able to do that in New York, where there's nothing but meters on the street? You know, there's hardly any space for you to pull up into as far as in the back to deliver product, as far as what's the word I want to use? I don't know. It's a lot of factors that you know, that will factor in if it makes business sense to do business in a specific city in Africa or not. Loading dock, that's a loading dock or whatever. So, you know, it's just a lot.
Okay, let me see if I have anybody in the particular chat here that has certain questions. Let me see. All right, shout out to Frederick Chopin. And let me shout out one particular person that has a particular channel while we're doing this. This dude is, I told him that I would do so. Well, let me see something here. So yeah, this brother has a channel which is like indie, console, retro. So if you're into like gaming and stuff like that, you know, I will drop this brother's channel here. It is Al Cheetah. All right, it's you know, I put up his link, so it's a little bit different, you know, than most channels are on YouTube. But shout out to Al Cheetah. Okay, so if you're you know, want to look at stuff like that, basically like, you know, indie games and stuff like that. So he's a black gamer. All right, so, you know, his brother's doing all kind of different things, man. I'm gonna subscribe to his channel here. So let's go ahead and support the brother if we can. So once again, you know, go ahead and check him out. It's Al Cheddar, Cheddah. All right, so I just wanted to do that, and also let's talk about some other things while we're here. You know, I know I've always mentioned this before, but now we're talking about maybe the dating thing, right? I know you've been to Africa multiple times. You've been to Africa many times, and pretty much you're going to have a lot of people saying, well, maybe if you go date African women in Tanzania or these places. I know I ask this all the time, but, you know, one of the things they're going to say is, you know, these women are, you know, they're not looking at you as a black man. You know, you're thinking that you're going to Africa, they're going to look at you as a respectable black man, you're a smart black man. Really, you are a meal ticket. Because they feel, a lot of people feel like this too. I've seen this a lot on a lot of boards, like nardynomads.com, that a lot of African women are having an infatuation with white men. They're not really checking for their brothers in Africa. You know, we come over there, you know, they may look at us as, you know, hey, you're a U.S. passport, you're a U.S. citizen, but you know, the black woman doesn't really in Africa doesn't really want us. She wants a white man. What do you have to say about stuff like that?
I mean, all women are looking for somebody that can provide for them. I think, but I would say this: being a Black American is a plus. I would definitely say that. So, with that being said, if you're a Black American and you're in Africa, and it's the choices between you or the European man, the African woman is going to choose the Black American. So, I would say that. But if you know, people are saying like, "Oh, Black women," when you go to Africa, where African women are looking at you as a meal ticket, freaking that's the majority of women on the planet. They're looking for a provider.
Right, right.
So yeah, like North Star said in the chat, yeah, being a Black American on this entire planet is a plus. I mean, from Europe to Africa to Brazil, I mean, they absolutely love Black American men.
Mm-hmm.
So
why is it a plus? You know, in your opinion, why do you think it? You know, that brothers who happen to be, let's just say, why is it a plus for a brother to be, you know, African American in these particular places?
Honestly, you know, I'm not a big fan. It's okay. How can I put it? Outside the images of Black people outside of America is we're athletes or entertainers. So, like literally, when I go to Africa, people think I'm an entertainer. They see me, I'm in shape, I'm tatted up, so they think I'm an entertainer. So everything, the images of Black men outside of America that are projected outside of America, not here in America. Because here in America, I mean, we're killing people or selling dope, or we're athletes or entertainers. Versus out there, we're athletes or entertainers. So that has a huge influence on the culture of really the planet. I mean, Black men have to understand how influential we are on this fucking planet as far as just culture, how people just idolize us. I mean, that's just not Africa. That's when you're in Europe. That's when you go to freaking Japan, etc. So when they actually see a real walking Black American man in the flesh, it's like, oh my God, he has come. You know, so yeah, I think a lot of that is just, you know, the images that are projected to Africans as far as just being successful, rich athletes and entertainers.
So when they talk to you and they, you know, see that you're a professional, like, did you go up? Okay, when you were in Zanzibar, did you talk to any chicks? Did you go out and holler like, "Oh, what's up?" You know, did you have any kind of conversation with these women?
It's a little bit of both. They either approach me or approach them.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a little bit of both. I mean, they'll approach you. They have no problem coming up to you and saying hello and talking to you, and you know, I'll do the same thing with them as well.
So when they approached you, like, did they know? I mean, you know, when they approached you, you know, for example, what was the conversation about? Like, why did they approach you? Do you think?
Some they'll hear my English and they'll ask me where I'm from. You know, they'll think I'm either Nigerian or South Africa. I say no, I'm from America, and they're like, oh, Black American man, and then you know, we'll just start a conversation. And I mean, they're very hospitable. Like, they'll cook, you know, show me around, take me to meet their families, etc. So that's how it usually starts. They'll just overhear me talking, or they'll see me, they'll see my tattoos, so they want to know where I'm from.
Okay. Did you bend somebody over the couch over there? I mean, clips. No, get shot. Oh, okay. So you did, right? Like, how long did it take you? Did you like instant? Was it like the first? I mean, cause I'm pretty sure you didn't just, you know, get on Tinder or nothing. You just showed up, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen. If you're a Black American man, just show up, dude. Like, you know, just show up. It doesn't, and this just isn't. this isn't just going to Africa. Like, if you go anywhere outside of freaking America, if freaking even in America, just show up, man. If you're a Black American man, you're good looking, you make more than minimum wage, all you gotta do is just show up. I mean, that's really what it is.
So just show up and you're gonna have shit cracking, right?
You know? Yeah, exactly. Anywhere on this planet.
It's gonna be all good.
All good. Anywhere on this freaking planet.
Okay.
Not just Africa.
All right. So just show up. So did you go out to any particular clubs or anything like that? Or what did you kind of do, out there?
I mean, I've been to a couple clubs out there, but I really don't do the club scene.
Okay.
Even here in America, because I'm like, I mean, the clubs are cool. I mean, they're like clubs out here. I mean, you go out and party. You got your hole in the wall clubs, you got your big nightclubs, and I mean, they're clubs. I mean, they're pretty much the same concept. You go in, have drinks, and hook up with them and holla at chicks, so.
Right. Okay. So you went to the club, holler at some chicks. Was it niggas hating on you? Because I know there's.
No, I never had any issues, bro. I mean, never had any issues. No hate, no nothing.
So you in there by yourself? Was you buying hella bitches water bottles? I mean.
No, I'm gonna tell you a funny story though. Okay, I was in Namibia.
Okay.
Shit is cheap over there. I have bought a beer. And I want to say, you go out to a club or a bar, depending where you go, a beer could be like $5. Right. This beer is probably $1. So I ended up buying the whole everybody at the bar beer.
Damn.
Like I set out the whole bar for like $25. So it's just, you can live like a king out there, man, and really be the man.
Okay, so in Namibia, was it? You're not gonna ask this. Was you like in Windhoek, that city?
No, I was in a city called Odongwa, which is like an hour flight outside of Windhoek.
Okay. Is everybody? Because I heard like in Namibia, they don't have no for a South African country, they ain't really got no fat asses like that out there.
Oh, shit, you're crazy. Who said that?
Oh, they do?
Yeah, what? Yes. So that long.
Was you seeing them like left and right, or just every now and then?
Namibia had the baddest. It had some of the most beautiful women I ever seen.
So it was thick.
Yes, bro.
I don't know why people keep telling me that. Oh man, they really ain't that thick out there. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know where. Yeah, tricky.
I heard it was all skinny and shit. Yeah, that's what I thought I heard. I'm just telling you what I heard, player. Don't be a nigga up. I'm just letting you know. I'm just asking. So for Namibia, so you don't need, if you go to Namibia, right? You don't need to have what am I trying to say here? For Namibia, you don't need a visa, right?
No, as long as you have a U.S. passport.
Okay. U.S. passport. Okay. And so were there a lot of, now, as far as modernization of that city, was it a lot of white people there in Namibia? I mean,
no, not like South Africa. No, I didn't see that many white people in Namibia like South Africa.
So in Namibia, is that more developed?
Oh, Namibia is probably the most developed city I've ever been to. Roads are fucking awesome.
Right.
Namibia, the infrastructure in Namibia was nice. Internet is fast and all that. So.
Okay. So Namibia is a place where, in your opinion, people, you can go there, you can live, high quality of life that's somewhat close to Western standards. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's not that expensive in Namibia. Shit was cheap. Because Namibia, they use the rand like
South Africa.
Yeah, and the rand is weak right now. So
it's like $14. Let's just 14 rand. Let me see, 14. to, it was like 7 before, well, you know, what's this guy's name? The president they have now, Zuma?
Yeah.
Yo, he's an asshole, bro. Like, he is so fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah. So basically they use the rand. They don't have their own denomination.
They have the Namibian dollar, but you can use the rand in Namibia. Like if you go to Namibia with nothing but rand, you'll be fine. Like, so you know, you don't have to exchange the money. It's kind of like with the francophone countries in Africa, where you have Safa and Senegal use that same Safa and Benin. So with South Africa and Namibia, if you have your rand in South Africa, you use that same rand in Namibia.
So when you was in South Africa, you know I gotta ask this because I heard South Africa is the queen of big booties. I mean,
nope. No, I disagree.
What?
I didn't see that. During my time in South Africa, I did not see that many cute South African girls, man. I was very disappointed in South Africa.
Really?
Yeah, very disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, have some beautiful women. Your boy CJ Sims says Liberia. Man, Liberia, Sierra Leone has some beautiful women. Freaking Senegal, Mali. They have some beautiful women. Kenya, no. Tanzania, no. Outside of Zanzibar. Zanzibar has some beautiful women. But I was disappointed in South Africa, man, all across the board. Across the board.
Shout out to my man Anthony Brian Logan, man. He's up in here. So shout out to him. He just got the Silver Play Button Award, so I gotta do a special little party for him. He can come on here and talk some shit. He don't really curse like that, but shout out to him though. He's doing a really great job on his channel. Now let's talk about some of the things you got planned this year in your travels, because you got a trip coming up in November. Where do you plan on doing this particular year?
I plan on going to, well, I already bought the tickets. I'm going to Ghana, Senegal, Togo, and Benin.
He said, "It is nothing but." Oh my God. Okay, so Ghana. What is making? I know Ghana, Accra, from what I hear. You know, what up, Doug? Super expensive, right? I mean, no.
Yeah, from my understanding, it is. Yeah.
Okay, shout out to Ghana though. Ghana probably is, from what I understand, probably one of the most stable countries in West Africa. Shout out to my man Kwame Nkrumah. I don't know if you guys know this, but him and Kaiser. If you're from California, you heard of Kaiser Permanente. Well, do you know about Kaiser Aluminum? Kaiser Aluminum, they actually are the ones that built the dam that's there, the Volta Dam. So and Ghana is in a position to sell other countries, especially Togo, other countries' electricity. So the electricity is pretty stable there. But it's also very well developed. Education system is pretty good in Ghana. They have at least 4 or 5 medical schools. But Ghana is so fucking expensive, right?
I haven't been yet. From my understanding, to actually live in the city is expensive as hell. But again, I haven't been. But people have to understand too, man. West Africa, just in general, the cities are expensive to live. Sometimes the lodging could be expensive as well. Yes, Captain Jack, the U.S. dollar does go far in Tanzania. But yeah, it's West Africa is expensive in general. It's outside of Benin, wasn't that bad, but fucking Mali was expensive as hell for some reason. In the actual major cities, from my understanding, Accra is very expensive. Senegal was somewhat hit or miss. in the major city as far as living, but Mali and freaking, from my understanding, Accra is very expensive.
So what made you choose Ghana versus maybe like Monrovia, Liberia, or
It's
Sierra?
just we've been talking about Ghana for so much, I have to go experience it. I mean, I will go to Monrovia soon, but I have to go to Ghana.
Mhm. How long do you plan on staying there? And or are you gonna go to like the Ashanti Kingdom, like Kumasi?
After all that, I'm going to Kumasi.
You're going to Kumasi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't understand how you can go to Ghana and not go to Kumasi. Like I don't get that. You gotta go to Kumasi. So yeah, I will be in Kumasi.
Kumasi. Okay. Now, what are you looking for as an experience when you go to Kumasi? What do you gain? What do you what are you intending to gain out of that particular experience?
The festival I'm going to, I have to look it up real quick. I can tell you the name of it. Um, it's called like the Ashi Kawazi Festival. I probably butchered it. But basically it's celebrated once a month, and it's just pretty much celebrating the Ashanti Kingdom and the king. So I'm gonna do that. Usually when I go to Africa, the country, I try to find a festival that's going on there and partake in that.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's what I'm doing.
And then from Ghana, you're gonna go head over to Togo. Is that right?
And that's in January. In January, I'm going to Togo and Benin.
Togo and Benin. Okay. So Togo and Benin. So then let me get this straight. So and then you have Haiti coming up where? When?
I'm supposed to go to Haiti in September.
September. All right. So let me see if I can remember all the countries you've been to. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to Benin. You've been to Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing one?
Mali.
Mali.
Mm-hmm.
So then we will have Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have
And Togo.
Okay. So how many countries do you plan to visit in Africa when it's all said and done?
I want to do all 54.
54.
Mm-hmm. You know, I can hit it. I can do it, God willing.
Yeah, I think you can. You definitely got more money than I got, so you you shouldn't have no problem. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and just hit the first one. I'm gonna hit the first one, just get it over with. Be out there. I really haven't outside of Kampala. I really haven't looked at going to other like into the villages and things of this nature. Okay, so I guess what? So you went to Central African Republic. Who went to Central African Republic? I don't think anybody did. Okay. Let me ask you this: where else after Togo and Ghana do you think you'll go after these particular places?
I'm gonna do, of course, Accra. I'm going to Cape Coast, and then I'm going to Kumasi.
Okay, so next year, 2018,
Yes,
where are we going to go in 2018?
for sure, Senegal. Maybe Benin again. Not sure. Gabon for sure, and then I have to get back to Namibia. I want to get back to Namibia. I try to go to at least one or two new countries each year, but it just depends because I just, Senegal is on my list every year. I might not go to Benin again, not sure, but definitely Gabon, and I have to get to Namibia for sure. So definitely Gabon for sure, Namibia hopefully. So Senegal and Gabon are definitely on the list.
When are we looking to hit Nigeria?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I got to go to Benin City.
Yeah, Benin City, yeah, definitely.
I got to hit up Benin City. Shit. I don't know, but I have to go to Benin City.
Oh, okay. Actually, it's Mr. Black is here. So I told him I would get him in on the conversation. Let me go ahead and send the link because he came in Maybe we can take the conversation for a little bit of a different spin here. All right, Mr. Black, I just sent you the link. Always good to hear from Mr. Black. So you guys get the likes up in the chat if you can. Thank you guys for supporting this particular hangout. I know this is not like a breaking news story and stuff like that you guys like to hear, the roasting and all that. You know how niggas is, but sometimes we have to have certain content where it's not all hyped up. I know how you Negroes is.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
You got it. You got it.
Glad to have you back in here, brother.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that last interview that you guys did together, man. When Dynas was talking about his experiences in Africa and just the things that he got a chance to see. It was very informative. I just wanted to put that out there too.
Now I know you've been to Lagos before.
Yeah.
Okay. What did I know you talked about it previously. What was your experience again? Just kind of refresh people about what you saw in Lagos.
Well, I'll lead off with the good things. The good things was that I saw a Black patriarchal society. Hold on, let me change this out. Where you saw men, Black men in positions of power, all the way up the ranking order of society. So that was a good thing. Another good thing was that you just saw so many different types of Black people. A lot of times, the American. In America, we see only a certain look of Nigerians. We either see mainly the Igbo tribe, and we see like the Yorubas, but we rarely see any other tribes like the Deltas that actually look more like us. They have Hausa tribes. They look a little bit more like us, but a little different. You know what I mean? But the main tribes that come here typically don't look as much like us. So that was good to just see all the different types of Black people. And also I got a chance to just kind of just appreciate the spirit of being around in a country that that was functional and that was Black. That was just a very empowering experience for me. But the negative things that I saw was that I saw a lot of schools that were just partially built and that had been partially built for years, and nobody was even planning on fixing these schools or finishing these schools because the main developer that the money was sent to just skipped the country and went to Europe. Or you'd hear stories about, you'd still see a lot of Chinese influence in the country. You'd see foreign influence in the country, whether it be Indian, Lebanese, different nationalities that were in major control of commerce and industry there. So from that perspective, it was a bit disheartening to see, not that they were actually taking control, because I don't begrudge anyone for stepping up to the plate and maximizing potential, because a lot of what they produce there or contribute to is beneficial to the people of Africa. So, but at the same time, when you begin to see certain trends that we see here that Black people complain about here happening in other countries, it's a bit disheartening, to say the least.
Let me ask Dynas about that, because Dynas, you've seen, I know we talk about that quite often, but what's going on with these merchandisers who are non-Black, and how much power do they have as far as in commerce in the countries you've been to?
I mean, well, especially in countries like more East African countries of South Africa, especially South Africa. I mean, Indians and whites in South Africa pretty much run the economy. Tanzania, they have a strong influence as well. Kenya, you have the Chinese and the Indians who have a strong influence. But remember, in Uganda, for example, I mean, Indians run the economy, and that's part of the reason why your boy Idi Amin had them expelled because, you know, they weren't properly circulating that money within the economy. But, you know, they're now back and they pretty much run the economy again to this day.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on the country. But I think primarily East Africa is where you'll see a lot of, as far as the merchandising being primarily Indian or Chinese, that pretty much have a large say in what goes on as far as economic wise in the country. Mm-hmm. And then even as far as if they do something illegal, they're not being punished like they should be, versus, you know, if me and you were to go to China or India and break the law, they're gonna throw the fucking book at us. So, you know, you see a lot of that going on too.
Yeah, man, this is absolutely true. They definitely would throw the fucking book at us. No doubt about it. As far as the, like, Mr. Black, as far as like the everyday hustle and bustle, you know, that you kind of saw there. I mean, kind of talk about, you know, how busy the transactions were on a day-to-day basis. Did you see a lot of street vendors? What's different that you saw in Nigeria that you don't see in America so often? Lagos.
Well, I saw a very positive outlook. The people there, from my experience, were very ambitious. I mean, these people were extremely ambitious. Now, you had your lazy people as well, but you know, you just get more of a sense of these people really want to succeed, like almost by any means necessary. But at the same time, you know, another thing that I also saw was I didn't really see a lot of fights. I didn't see a lot of, you know, like, I didn't see any crime. I'm sure crime was probably happening there. You know what I mean? There's no way that you could just see everything, but you just didn't see the natural inclination for criminality as much as you would see it like in the neighborhoods where I come from, or where we come from, or we've seen here in the States. It's just more of a positive attitude. I mean, even the waiters there had bachelor's and master's degrees. It was insane. So the people there just have more of a zeal for overall success and just, you know, hustle, man. Like, so the vendors, you see the vendors, they'd be hustling, and a lot of them would have degrees too sometimes. You know, it was the weirdest thing.
Okay. Now let's talk about that. You know, Diane, do you recognize a lot of ambitious people? Like, do you see that those people are more ambitious in Africa than they are, or have more zeal than it is in America, in your opinion?
I would say so, because in Africa, certain shit that's tolerated here in the Black community is not tolerated in Africa. Like, you're gonna work, you're gonna do something. You know, you can't bum it out. You know, like, bumminess is not really tolerated in Africa like it is here in America. You know, like, you're gonna contribute basically to something and do something and get up and get after it. You know, because you understand, like, in Africa, you know, there's no Section 8, there's no, you know, SSI, there's no disability for the most part, from what I understand. So you're gonna have to do something. Versus here, you know, if you get paid or to be unambitious, you know, you could fake an injury or something and get disability. You know, you could get Section 8 if you're unambitious. So, you know, you're not paid, or you're not rewarded for being unambitious in Africa like you're here in America. I mean, you have literally generations of people here in America that have been on Section 8 and welfare. That doesn't happen in Africa for the most part. So you're gonna have to get up and do something no matter what.
Get up, and get something. All right, Mr. Black. Now let me kind of ask you this, because you're a person that believes that Black Americans should build up their current situation in America before looking for other opportunities abroad. I kind of agree and kind of disagree, but the Dynast is more of a Dynast. You are a Pan-Africanist, right? Definitely.
Right.
Definitely, yeah, without a doubt. Dynast may have a little bit of a different thought process on that, and I'm kind of leaning towards more of Dynast's opinion, seeing what has happened to Blacks when they do become successful and independent as a group in America. But I don't know, what's your thoughts about this? Because, you know, I hear the Pan-African reason, and Dynast is true Pan-African. He's been to Africa. You cannot, to me, in your opinion, you cannot be a Pan-Africanist if you have never been to Africa. Like Marcus Garvey, not a Pan-Africanist, not one. You have to go there, actually. But what do you think about, you know, Blacks in America trying to rebuild up America with the laws being like they are, with Blacks not having as much power and authority? What's your position on it?
Well, I'm not against opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, so if you get an opportunity anywhere, of course, I would advise any brother to take advantage of opportunities. But when I'm talking about creating opportunities, I'm thinking about this. I look at it. Okay, right now in America, Blacks have access to the most abundant resources on the planet here in America. And my thing is, I look at American success as more of a litmus test for success anywhere, because here, the odds of you making it there, I don't think are much greater, because now this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that, yeah, I'm sure people can go over there and establish something that can be successful. Of course, I'm not going to take, you know, because they don't have the same laws and restrictions and different things of that nature. But what I mean by this being a litmus test is, here we do have actual resources. We have access to capital. We have access to other people with capital, just within, you know, general family members and partnerships. We have access to some of the fastest internet speeds, the best infrastructure, clean water. I mean, these things we have, consistent electricity. These things are right. I mean, they're just fertile ground for success if you're willing to be ambitious enough to take it. But from what I'm witnessing is, I'm seeing a lack of ambition in Black men, and that lack of ambition is not going to play. Listen, when I went to Africa, these people are hustling. Like, this is not some place where you're going to go and you're going to dominate just because you're American. Like, these people are kicking butt over there. You have Dangote. He's a multi-billionaire. I mean, not to say that he's, you know, he's more of an outlier, but the point is, you have a lot of successful people in Africa. So for us to just, and they're not just regular, like, it's not like they're just sitting around regular. These people are extremely educated in many instances. They're well connected to the capital out there. And, you know, so, you know, I thought the same thing. When I first went, I was thinking, you know, hey, I'm an American. I'm going to be like, you know, the shit over here. Like, but it's not really the case when you start getting into the upper echelons of the bigger moving parts that make up the Nigerian economy. I've only been in Nigeria, but, you know, the bigger parts that make up that economy, man, those are well-connected people, very well-connected people, very resourceful people, very ambitious people, very very brutal and vicious people as well. Because I mean, you got to understand, you're working in a very dog-eat-dog world style economy. So these people are not, you know, just playing by the rules all the time. Like, so I'm thinking at the same time, if Black people, if you don't have that killer instinct here, I don't think you can make it there. It's not a matter of,
yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? It's not a matter of, I don't think you should go. I'm just saying, like, you probably wouldn't anyway. Like, you know.
Well, Dynast, let's get your opinion on this, because this is getting interesting. I know we only have 72 people watching, but I think this is a great soundbite we're having here. What's your opinion on this, Dynast?
No, he's right. I mean, if you don't have that killer instinct, or, you know, that ambition to succeed over here, what the hell are you going to do in Africa? You know, it really not just Africa. What the hell are you going to do anywhere? You know, because again, the difference between, God damn, what you killing a super?
I got his ass. Got it.
Okay. Yeah, the thing is, the difference between places like America versus other places, you are actually rewarded for being unambitious. You know, you can sit around and collect a check from our tax dollars for not wanting to do shit. Versus out there, you got to get your grind on. Now, my only thing about Africans a lot in regards to their grind in Africa, I think they work hard but not smart. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you go to Africa, you go to these cities, everyone is selling all the same shit. So like literally you'll have vendors set up right next to each other and they're all selling the same shit. And it just really comes down to who's gonna give you the best deal. Versus I would focus more on being the distributor of said products. And then also too, stepping up your e-game, your e-commerce game. I will focus on that. But as far as getting out of your fucking bed and going to work every day and getting it in, Africans have no problem with that. Versus here in America, like the brother said, you know, a lot of people are just are not ambitious because they know if they do something or not, they're gonna get a check regardless. Which, you know, it's just not fair. So yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna work, I mean, that's just gonna carry over wherever you go if you're a lazy bum.
Let me also talk about this because I saw was it Vice, I believe, and the reason why I want to mention Vice in particular is because they're talking about as far as distribution, just to get to like Nigeria, over to like Nigeria to the Benin border, just to go 200 miles can sometimes take 36 hours because of the people stopping you, bribes, border patrols, border checks, and things of this nature. I mean, and I'm here like, in the European Union where now it does take a long time for me to get from here to Ukraine because Ukraine is not in the European Union, but at the same time, once you go to Ukraine or go across the border at a certain time of night, you're in there, no sweat. I can go Poland, let's say to Germany without any problem, from Germany over to Austria, to Luxembourg, no issues. But the problem that Africa is having is, there's a border patrol check all the time. Now, the reason why I'm asking you is this. Should there be a United States of Africa, like the European Union is, like the United States of America is, where you have absolutely free entry to run as you would, go as you please to different countries without there being a border patrol?
I definitely think so. But that's kind of like one of those things that I don't know enough information about as to the reasons why it's not that way. Because I'm sure it has to be that they think, that is rational enough. Because to me, that it just impedes all efficiencies. So if you're blocking the borders in Africa, especially a resource-rich country as Africa is, it's so counterintuitive to think that, putting massive restrictions on the borders would be productive. So in order for it to be that way, I'm assuming that it has to be some type of tribal conflict, some type of, I don't know exactly what, I don't know enough, because I was thinking the same thing. I mean, this makes absolutely no sense. But then again, it's kind of like one of those things where, like when Trump was campaigning and he would talk about a lot of things that he thought he would be able to implement, like say, for instance, being tougher on China in terms of trade agreements. A lot of that stuff sounds good to say in a soundbite, but then when you get into the minutia of it and you actually dig deeper, you find out, hold up, it's a lot of things, it's a lot of layers to it. So I don't know enough about it to definitively make a clear argument as to why it should be.
What about you, Danny?
Well, I know in East Africa, in West Africa, they have the think it's called the ECOWAS, meaning if you have a passport in any West African country, you don't need a visa to visit any other West African country. And then I think pretty soon, if you have an African passport, period, you won't need a visa to travel to any of the 54 countries in Africa. So you have that. And as far as the roads being bad and the checkpoints, it really depends on what part of, Africa you're in or where you're actually traveling in that country. Because, for example, I could travel pretty much all throughout Georgia, and there's only one checkpoint or toll, and that's if I'm heading up 85 North through 400. But if you go to places like Houston, there's a freaking checkpoint every freaking like 5 miles. Same thing with New York. When we were in Florida, it was something similar as well. So it just depends on the country and where you're at. So it's just it varies. So that might just be a Nigerian thing, because when I travel, like in Mali, traveling from Bamako to Dogon country, which is like a 12-hour drive, I think there was maybe 2 checkpoints, and literally it's really there just for security reasons, and they just want to check your ID and your car insurance. Well, really check your car insurance, and then let you go. So I didn't have any issues. When I was in Namibia and I drove from Odangwa to Opuwo, I got stopped once, and that was a 4-hour drive, and it was just, basically like, hey, you got your driver's license? Yeah, I got it. Okay, all right, bye. So I've never had any issues as far as dealing with checkpoints when we driving throughout Africa.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about blacks, in America, and what the issues are. Possible that blacks in America can do anything to change their situations, because blacks don't control their own economies. We're still having some issues with that. Let's start off with Mr. Black. What are we not seeing here that we're messing up as a group of people in Black America, and what opportunities are we missing in your opinions? Is he still there?
Who?
Mr. Black.
Yeah, I'm here. I had my mic muted while I'm not talking. My bad. I didn't even know. But I think it's primarily rooted in our lack of a desire to compete, for one. And I'm not gonna say everybody doesn't want to compete, because obviously some of us do. But I think that we don't take ownership of our situation, and I think a lot of it is because we're kind of starting to become more of an amalgamated society, where especially blacks and I would even say whites and even probably Hispanics as well. Not the same as much for Asians, even though they're starting to kind of come into the fold of the general American society as a whole. But I think that the problem lies in Black people kind of have to pick which road we want to take. Do we want to build a strong community, or do we just want to amalgamate fully into the American idea of America? Now, if we do that, we're doing 2 things. We're going to have to put down the whole I'm Black, you're white kind of deal, and just kind of go with the American. We just got to go there. And I think that it's wins to that. It's wins for that ideology, or we're going to have to decide whether we want to be a community, kind of like the Jews or the Asians in many cases, and build up our own communities, which I think that is probably where we would get the most benefit in terms of economic progress as a collective. But at the same time, that's going to take a lot of infrastructure building. That's going to take a lot of Black men taking accountability for our neighborhoods, being cleanup men. We're going to have to do it, because that's the only way it's going to get done. So we're going to have to take accountability for that. And I don't know if Black men want to do it. So it's a matter of we're gonna have to decide which lane we want to take. Either one of them, I think, is gonna, we could be successful in, but I think where we at now is kind of like we're trying to straddle the fence, and you don't win anything straddling the fence. You're either all in or you're kind of just losing on both sides. So right now, like I said, we're in the middle, trying to be pro-black halfway, and be hyper offended about everything, and don't want to just fully go in and commit to the American ideal. And then on the other end, we're trying to like have our own community somewhat, but then everybody's kind of working either part-time or no time to build that. So it's not functional. So it's kind of like we're just in limbo, not succeeding fully anywhere, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. What's your impression of Black America right now, Dias? If you can.
That's a whole nother show. I just think we have to come together, obviously, but there's too much fat on the meat in order to do that. And it's too much going on. Like, that's a whole nother show, bro. That's just a whole nother show. It's too, no one's on the same page, I mean, you just take it for example, cities like Atlanta. I mean, our political leaders have completely sold us out. Black people still believe that, the Democratic Party or Republican is going to save them, which is not true, not the case. I don't, bro. It's just a lot of people gotta go. It's just what happens is, and you mentioned this before, O'Shea. Instead of Black people wanting to build their own platforms, they would rather not do that, and are content with just be rewarded by people who historically do not care about the overall well-being of Black people.
That's true. That's very.
And so they would rather sell out, be rewarded, versus focusing on the betterment of Black people as a whole. And until we get rid of these specific individuals, it's going to be hard because they have such a big influence, especially in the media,
Well, see, yeah, and see, I want to piggyback on that too, because it's like, the thing about it is we have to think in terms of practicality and individual self-interest. The thing about it is, man, when you think about it, you have on one end a dysfunctional group of people who are not as competitive as other groups. These are just the facts. The numbers bear that out with, the general household wealth of Black people being, $11,000 or $1,700, however you want to look at that math, minus the family car. This is the median, and then the median of whites being about 140,000. Now, just these gaping disparities alone lets you know that you're kind of on the losing team in terms of resources alone, just financial resources alone. Then when you juxtapose that against where most of the hiring is happening, so what happens is Black people are confronted with reality, and then we're confronted, which is bills needing to be paid, children needing to be raised in safe or quality education and safe communities. You're looking at actual resources within itself, and then when you're confronted with just those four, you're looking at, okay, where is this going to come from? If it's not going to come from a person with a face that looks, or a skin color that looks like mine, then you're already in a compromised position alone. So it all boils down to if Black people are willing to take back our communities or not. And if we're not, that's cool. That's cool. But don't even go there. Don't. It's like drop all of the other stuff, because you're never going to do that. So don't be talking about Black power this and all. Don't be talking about that, because that's not you. Unless you're confronting that reality in terms of real resources, actually building businesses that put money in people's pockets, building safe communities that actually that protect people, that keep people safe, that are prosperous, that pay people, then you're not talking about anything tangible that's going to make people sign up on the dotted line and say, I want to participate in that. And black people, because we want the fantasy of a black community, but not the reality of a black community. And until we want the reality of it, it's like, just stop talking about that. Just be American. Just quit.
Actually, here's the thing. I'm kind of like in the middle because, like, for example, I'm not like the most talented person in the world, but I know that, my community could use somebody like me, when I'm done here and everything like that. Now, here's the issue. I don't have a problem with maybe going back to where I came from, but the problem is you're dealing with people who are not so ambitious, right? And you're from a place where people don't know anything about ambition for the most part. It's like, when, like, for example, like I'm in medical school. I'm sure, and you guys probably all can relate to this. You're at the University of Georgia. You were with like-minded people, people who are motivated to do certain things, whether it's athletics, people who are competitive. When you're in college, you're among these people who are competitive. When you get into general population after college, whatever the professional program is, you're just not around those people anymore, And I guess for me, the question to you would be, Mr. Black, or to Dynas, what's your motivation for what you want to go back, but you necessarily don't want to be around those particular people?
Well, this is the thing, and I think we're probably in a different place. I'm sure when you get out of school, you start making money and making that doctor money, you're going to probably view some of these issues different. Maybe, I don't know. I can never be for certain, but I'm in a position, I guess, where I'm gonna be honest. I do live a life, I'm blessed, you know what I mean, to say the least. So the thing about it is, I guess I don't mind being around my people. Now I do have, I hang around the upper echelons, partition of black folk. And at the same time, I don't mind going in and being that, like put it like this, all of the problems you just named, unambitious people who don't know anything about ambition, I don't mind being the conduit that actually facilitates that type of change wherever I go. I don't mind doing it because I believe that just like it's unambitious black folk, it's unambitious Asians too. They're all not just ambitious. It's just those few people who go back and kind of, facilitate more ambition as a whole. They promote that in their communities. Same thing with Indians. Indians, man, I've worked with a lot of Indians, man. They're not the brightest people, man. They're just not. But the thing about it is, the leaders in their community come back and they create opportunities. They create an atmosphere of growth. So even the smallest amongst them or the least ambitious amongst them actually benefits, or at least they can put on the front and look like they're at least trying. But with black folk, because we're so divided, you know what I mean? It's like the ambitious, you don't even want to relate to them because it's too much work. You don't want to do the work. And if you don't want to do the work, like I said, we got to pick if we want a black community or not. If we don't want one, then of course you don't have to do the work. But if you want to say that we are wanting a black community, you have to be the problem solver for those problems. And that's just the only way. It's no other way of doing it. And it's not like we would be any different from the Jews. The Jews do the same thing. Yeah. They just fix their problems.
I agree. I actually don't have a rebuttal for that. What about you, Dynas?
No, I think the issue, this is the thing. Like, so I lived in Koreatown in LA. And there was a homeless Korean lady that would walk, if people are familiar with LA, will walk up and down Western and Wilshire, in between like Western and Wilshire and Western and like 8th Street. And I don't speak Korean, but I guess the Koreans in that community would literally grill this lady out, pretty much like, you need to get your shit together. And so the difference between all of these communities versus, I would say, the Black community is like being mediocre, not portraying yourself in the upright in an upright fashion, you know, is absolutely not tolerated. Period. But here in the Black community, we'll tolerate being unambitious, being below average, and not contributing. But in other communities, the Jewish, Korean, Chinese, that shit's not tolerated, bro. Like, you need to pretty much, they'll make you disappear or quarantine you in your own special place. Like, you're not allowed to be seen. So I think that's the difference between the Black community and other communities now is, like I said, there are certain individuals that just have to disappear if they don't get in line with the program. Mm-hmm. And we're just afraid to have that conversation with them. Or we'll have other demographics of people butting in, you know, like liberals saying, no, don't do that to them. Don't hurt them, or, you know, don't remove them from the group. You know, other groups from the outside coming in and butting in and not allowing us to get rid of the people that need to go ahead and disappear. So
I totally agree, man. It makes a lot of sense. I actually agree with both people. I agree with both things that you were saying. I think that it makes sense. You know, people do build for their best people, which is why I still have a heart for, you know, the community in which I come from. And, you know, you can help who you can help. But at the same time, I do understand people who are just like, you know what, fuck it. You know, I'm trying to do my own thing, or I'm trying to converse with some people. But yeah, I really do understand both sides. And we do have people, you know, that need to compete. And I think this whole thing with you know, a lot of Section 8 being cut and a lot of this should wake Black people up. I tell you one thing. I know that you guys were not a part of that. King Demetrius, what's up? Bro, thanks for the donation. Man, you gave 200 yesterday, 75 today. What do you do for a living, dude? You must be making like about $1,000 a day or something. You got too much money. Appreciate you, player. Thank you, man. So shout out to King Demetrius. But what I want to say, brothers, is what the hell was I saying? What was I saying, y'all? All that money got me fucked up. What was I saying? What was I saying, dude?
I don't know.
You were talking about.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying you were talking about the community and everything.
Yeah. Donald Trump cutting all of this fucking welfare, and I mean, it's not gonna be all, but I remember when we had this YouTube ad strike, and then, you know, there was a list with all the Black YouTubers on it, and I was like, God
damn, you just gave you another 100.
Demetrius he's selling at work, man. I'm telling you.
What the? Dude,
he's selling at work, man.
I think he got hell of money, dude. He just he got hell of money, dude. Like, they just, it ain't nothing to him. Bro, whatever you doing, bro, don't fuck around and get caught by the police, nigga. All right, but thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro. What I wanted to say is
about Donald Trump making those cuts.
Yeah. When we had this little YouTube ad strike, and I know for my main channel was doing really good, the O'Shea Big Jackson main channel. Well, what ended up happening was I had to hide that channel because all those bitches were trying to shut all of us down. Now, what ended up happening because of that, it forced me to make up the second channel, and then it forced me to go to Patreon to fund the Negro Manosphere. So in a way, that scare made me do more things to make the income stream that we have for the website and for me personally become better. What am I saying here? And then also it made the black male YouTubers who had beefs previously, it made those go away. You know what I mean? Because like it was us beefing with Tommy at the time. Yeah, it was us beefing with each other, and you don't see it anymore.
Tommy's a fucking clown. Tommy is a clown dick. Tommy's something, man. That guy, dude. I keep going. When you mention his name, I just struck something in. Yeah, go ahead.
That whole scare when you had a lot of black men losing their channel and shit like that, it started making actually not us really working together more, but it did stop the beefing. You know, it did make us realize that, yo, we can't be beefing anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is this type of thing with Donald Trump, like, yo, we're going to cut welfare, we're going to cut some food stamps, shit like that. I think this should make, and it should make black people come together more. But before I just talk, what I can say is once the brethren started getting strikes, more people started supporting more black YouTubers more financially than before. That I noticed. Like, for example, on the Patreon, we, in 1 month, the Negro Manosphere got 181 Patreons for people who wanted to see that content. So I just wanted to get you guys approval, or not approval, but your points on what do you think, as far as Donald Trump cutting food stamps, is that going to unify the black base?
I don't know, man. It can go both ways. I mean, you have some people that just, out of being desperate, will probably turn up even worse, just because that guaranteed income isn't coming in from the government, which was at one time guaranteed. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And then a lot of people that have that mentality, as far as relying on a government for resources, they probably don't want to unite. So again, they might turn up and shit might get real crazy around here. So I would say just protect yourself. So
what's your thoughts?
Man.
Well, Mr. Black.
Me, man. I hate programs like welfare and all that kind of stuff. The reason why is because I think my philosophy is and always has been, whatever you subsidize, you get more of, right? So if I subsidize slothfulness, laziness, apathy, by giving financial benefits for it, then I'm gonna get more of it. So anytime, so on one end, it's like, yeah, I think they just need to cut more, man. Because in my opinion, some people who just, I'm not going to say everybody who relies on it, because I know some good people who have been on food stamps and are very successful now, but I wouldn't even say that they relied on it. But the point is that whatever you subsidize, you get more of. And I think that kind of messes with the population of people, man. I don't think you build strong people by subsidizing failure. So, I think it'll be good. I think black people, the black people who want to do better will come together. And I think the ones who can't, survive enough to eat will, in a way, remove themselves, either by committing crimes that puts them in jail, or messing with the wrong person and getting shot. Either way it goes, I think the less those people are even in the population, the better. And I know that sounds bad, but it's like, it's kind of like this, man. Do you really want to subsidize Down syndrome children being born? Or do you just want to, I know that sounds messed up. Like, I know that does.
No, I ain't really saying that.
But do you really want to subsidize this?
No.
Like, do you really want to do this? That's cruel. I'm not saying that nothing is wrong with, Down syndrome, hell, more power to them. Like, but you don't want to subsidize that as the norm in any society, because your society will fail when it has to compete with other groups. That's just the facts, man.
And see, let me go to this point, Mr. Black. this is why, like, I know that you say if black people don't have any, not building in America, they can't build anything else. It's because America does subsidize stupid people. America does subsidize the left. They do subsidize things that are not good for the economy. It makes it almost, in my humble opinion, it almost makes it not even worth being there. Because the society, the country is falling day by day due to just blatant stupidity. It's almost like if you say something that's like the truth, it's obvious it's the truth, you're going to be ridiculed, you can lose your job for that. I mean, this is where we are fucking at. You know what I mean? It's even hard to, let's say, discipline your kid. I was a fucked up kid. You had to whoop my ass as a kid. You just did. I needed it. I was one of those kids. You had to fuck me up. If you didn't, I was it's just the truth. If you didn't beat my ass as a kid, I was going to take advantage of you and the whole situation. I needed my ass. I did.
Yeah.
But a kid like me who needs a good ass whooping, what you're telling me is, I can't beat my kids. I can't discipline my kids. And that's the problem with America, is because there's so much control as to, they tell you what you should do, how you should do it. They influence you so much on the media. They try to control your, like, I'm in Poland right now. As an expat, I can honestly say that a country like Poland is maybe not so much trying to brainwash people here as maybe other places that I've been to. You know what I mean? Like America is their, we are the end all be all. This is it. This is, everything must go like this. If you're not an American, you suck. I mean, that's what, in American society, I think is very dangerous. I think if anybody tries to establish anything remotely conservative there, you're in a lot of trouble. I just really think that. I really think that people who have this sort of thinking patterns, they want to do things correctly. And people who have America has a lot of stupid fucking people too. When you deal with people like that, they're completely stupid. They have no clue of what the fuck is going on. I mean, how can you compete with that? How can you compete with a society that wants to be stupid and that does subsidize stupidity? I mean, that's what I'm getting. I mean, even if you have access to electricity, high-speed internet, all of this shit, people who are stupid are still stupid. That doesn't even matter at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's
unfortunate.
How do you compete with something like that? What about you, Dynas? Like, how do you compete with a society that wants dumbass people?
I mean, you're really not competing because, I mean, if you stand out above the pack, I mean, you'll be rewarded. You know what I mean? But it's just hard, and then at the same time, you just got to separate yourself from these dumbass people. That's the only thing you can really do. Like you said, man, with all the access to information we have here in America, high-speed internet, fucking Google Fiber and Xfinity fast-ass internet, and people rather look at fucking Rural Star all day, you just gotta avoid those people and just keep it pushing, man. Because like you said, for some reason, especially in the black community, we reward fucking idiots, So yeah, I don't know. I just stay clear from people like that.
Shout out to my man Theron. Theron, bro? Theron, you give enough. I always tell my dude, you give hella money as it is in the chat. It's every day. Him and Carl's Gilmore, they be in here every day like regular rain. Like YouTube, Super Chat, Strip Club. These niggas I'm like, bro, you do enough as it is. He got hella money because he's a truck driver, so he just
truck driver money.
He got it. Yeah, he just out there. He don't buying all kind of shit. It's nothing to him. But I guess Anybody in the chat, you know what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna actually get a blog talk radio going, man, where people can call in. That's coming soon because I know a lot of people want to talk and do that. Ebony, hey O'Shea, I'm good and I'm better knowing that there are still simps in here no matter all the teaching you get. She looking for a simp. Ebony is stupid. You are right. Americans don't listen. Right.
She said she looking for one?
Yeah. She just gonna have to be honest. But I am working on that, brother. So I'm gonna get the blog talk show so you guys can call in. I'm working through Skype, stuff like that. That'd be cool to talk to some of you guys, actually on the show. There could be some motherfuckers getting cussed out. I'm sure gonna be cussing you motherfuckers live. It's gonna be bad. I'm gonna keep a lot of niggas off the show. He's gonna be cussing a lot of niggas out. What else do you guys want to talk about, man?
Your boy, it's a little bit off subject, but your boy Tiger Woods got his Negro wake up call today.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
What happened with that, man?
So he got a DUI, but it's crazy. Oh, it's gotta be crazy. I mean, like I said, he got his Negro wake up call. In the mugshot, I guess like description where they put your height, your weight, your race, and all that other stuff. They said they labeled him as black. You know, he was the main one on that. I'm not black. I'm Asian, Irish, mixed. So he got his wake up call today. I mean, he hasn't been the same since his ex-wife beat his ass. You know, he hasn't been the same.
He lost his mojo. You know, discipline. I'm doing a video on that too, man, about discipline, man. I'm gonna be doing a video on that. At discipline, man, it's like once you fall off sometimes, man, it's hard to pick back up, man, pick up the pieces, you know.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I guess what I wanted to see or ask, these interracial mixed blacks, Tiger Woods, these mulatto blacks, should they be included in the community? I mean,
you know what? This is the thing. So
I know about this. Be like,
Well, I mean, this is the thing, bro. So I know mixed biracial black people who don't. I'm sorry, they're not black because they don't consider themselves black. They consider themselves biracial. But then, of course, you have biracial people that consider themselves black. But see, people like me, your black ass, O'Shea, we can't play both sides of the fence.
No.
So that's why I think, like how they do it in South Africa and other places, like if you're mixed, you're mulatto or you're colored.
Right.
So I honestly think it should be separated because, again, I know mixed people who don't consider themselves black, they consider themselves biracial. And then you have biracial people who consider themselves black. But like I said, me and you, we can't play both sides of the fence. So I think they should just have their own category.
Right. I agree too. Well, what about you, Mr. Black? What's your
Yeah, I fully agree, man. My thing is, if you're biracial, you're just biracial. I don't understand. You can't be both. I mean, you can't be one or the other. You're a mixture of two separate races. So I don't even understand the logic in a biracial person calling themselves black. I've never saw the logic in that. And it's just, I just don't get it. And the thing about it is, I did a video called on the 21st Century Biracial. And the thing is, man, a lot of these biracials aren't really gonna be dealing with black folks like that anyways. A lot of them are either marrying white or marrying other biracial. So I don't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I was watching the earlier today, I want to say the Housewives of Potomac, Maryland. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. And
yeah. And what's crazy about that? Like all the women in there are like light skinned. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video on that. And one of the light-skinned, quote-unquote, black women is married to like this white restaurant owner.
She's biracial. I think that's the biracial one. And the
Yeah.
rest of them are regular black, not biracial, but they're just light-skinned, kind of, or something like that.
They got a heavy dose of white ancestry somewhere, because them motherfuckers is a little bit like, yeah, but she's like always like, talking shit to this particular owner. She's always like, she's married to him, and he wants to have kids with her. She doesn't want to have kids. She's always being hella disrespectful and talking hella shit. But yeah, that's just pretty much what it is. Well, anyways, brothers, I mean, I know Mr. Black came on a little bit later. It is now 4:37 here in Poland.
Wow.
I know it's like what 10 in Atlanta, maybe 9:37. So let me do this while I'm still on, brothers. If you are on the chat app, 96 people watching, I'd appreciate it if you brothers go ahead and like the video. All right, so go ahead and like the video. Let's get that started. For those people who have called or who are actually in, go ahead and like the actual video. I have 95 people watching, so let's get the likes up on the video, brothers, if we can. And I really want to thank everybody that called in, not called in rather, but the call-in shows. I can guarantee you by the end of July, I'll have the call-in shows in, so we can all talk. And I'll put this motherfucker up for like 4 hours. I will roast the shit out you on live air. I will fuck you up. Don't worry about nothing. It's gonna be very fun. And my name of my show is gonna be called the Jerry Curl Show. That's gonna be the name of it. It's gonna be called the O'Shea Duke Jackson Jerry Curl Show. I'm gonna have like a bag drop like miniature Jack. It's gonna have a hella Jerry Curl juice bottles in the back and shit. I'm serious. No, I don't think I'm playing. I'm really serious.
Nah, I believe you. I believe you.
That's why it's gonna be fun. It's gonna have hella Jerry Curl kits in the back, like on the Photoshop, and it's gonna have hella curls and water curl juice. It's everywhere. And so that's what's gonna be the backdrop. It's gonna be crazy as fuck. So
Man, I wonder what those Jerry curls were like in the summertime, man. Could you imagine?
Oh, I had one. It was bad. I didn't have a Jerry curl. I had like an S curl, and if you didn't have an activator, it will cook the shit out of your scalp. That's what it was. I'll have my head in the water faucet, like yeah. Because if you did the S curl and you didn't put your shit up, I had a Jerry curl. I had the S curl, the little Bobby Valentino. I just want to get to know you. That curl, yeah. I was black and Cuban because I speak no Spanish.
Oh man,
that's another story. But y'all go ahead and shout out your channels, man. But, if you can real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, you go. You got it.
Okay. All right. Search for Huru on YouTube. I think the brother O'Shea already put the link in the chat and in the description box. But search for Huru on YouTube. Also, search for Huru on Instagram, Snapchat. I'm still trying to figure out Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter. And then also, too, as far as my other sites, dynastamir.com. Check that out. And then also go to searchforhuru.com as well. So.
And yeah, with mine, it's just black men taking our community back. I got a new video I'm about to drop hopefully tonight, man. I got to do a follow-up on this Miss Josephine character, man, because it's just a lot of misinformation that I just feel like need to be put on blast. So we're gonna hopefully the brothers can check that out. The last one did very well, a lot of dialogue on it. Over 11,000 views and over 1,000 comments, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So hopefully this next one, I can dispel a lot of the misnomers that were stated in the comments on that last video.
Let me go look at that right now. Also, let me do this. I'm gonna watch that video as soon as we get on by. For those brothers who are in the chat, the Negro Manosphere is back on Facebook. As you guys know, I had got the page up to 50,000 fucking likes, and then I fucked around and got it shut down. So here's the plan. I'm looking for you brothers to like us on the Negro Manosphere Facebook. Now, what's going to end up happening, right, is I'm going to, me and my buddy who helped me get the page up, We're actually going to make a Negro Manosphere group on Facebook. What we're going to do for some time is we're going to create that group, let it sit for about a month or two, and then bring the Facebook people to YouTube. So, and then on purpose, you know, we'll combine both people in the chats and in the shows. So we're going to be expanding in that way. But if you want to keep up with the daily posts and the daily content and check out all the content on the Negro Manosphere, everybody click on the link on the Negro Manosphere, like it. So Mind Taker, G Ash, Elge, Captain Logic, all you brothers, Ebony, Sister Ebony, wake the hell up. If you're on Facebook, like the Negro Manosphere like page right there. And if you do that, it's going to be a good thing. Because what I want to do for brothers like Search for Uhuru, who the hell is that? Who calling somebody?
Oh, that's somebody calling me.
One of your girls, name?
Actually, yeah.
Trying to get a early call. Won't you come through tonight? That nigga go change the name from Search for Uhuru to Search for some pussy. But before we go, the reason why we want to get you brothers to like the page is the last time I was promoting a lot of black YouTubers on the Negro Manosphere like page. So this is what we're going to do this time also. So like Search for Uhuru's videos will be there. We'll post Mr. Black's videos on there. So what I want to do is we're going to use the Negro Manosphere to pump out videos for all the black YouTubers that are black men and their messages through this particular thing, and share those videos in the other groups and stuff like that. So make sure you you like the Negro Manosphere. If you want to get your videos on it, if you're good, you ain't on no bullshit, we're definitely going to help promote you on there. And once again, thank you guys for coming on. If you guys want to come on tomorrow, I don't have anybody scheduled tomorrow. If you guys can come back, we can chop it up again. I get my main channel back next week, so we gotta break my main channel back in with a great hangout. Because I ain't had a hangout over there in 3 months.
What happened to it?
I got somebody reported me.
Protecting it.
Got a strike real quick. It ain't nothing. Ain't nothing.
I mean, goddamn. I mean, just shit. And your Facebook page got shut down too?
Yeah, man. I had got that motherfucker to 50,000. I used to be a Facebook marketer, so Facebook groups, and that's how I was. I had a blog before, and so this part I had. I was good at Facebook marketing and growing fan pages like that. I did it with my Negro Manosphere and fucked around and got that shit shut down, talking shit to people. So I said, damn. So I'm trying to bring it back. But what ended up happening was I made, the NegroManosphere.com is actually a hell of a website. I don't know who reads it, over here or not, but it's growing Alexa almost every day. We have over 270 posts. It's been up for almost 8 months, 6 or 7 months now. So the website would kick over to the fan page and it would post when the article was posted. So it was automatic. So, but I want to use the website to help more black YouTubers out and to promote other people. So you guys like that. If you guys can come back tomorrow, just email me. We can do a show. I don't have anybody scheduled for tomorrow. And that's it.
All right, for sure. All right, I always like to end it. O'Shea, appreciate, giving brothers like myself a platform. Again, black media, mainstream media is pretty much dead. As you can see, Ebony has pretty much imploded. So, we need brothers like me, you, and everyone, Jap, etc. Brother, what's your name on the line? My bad.
Oh, Mr. Black. Mr. Black. The black man.
Like,
yeah, that nigga,
Yeah. So I just appreciate that, man. Keep it going.
You thinking about that pussy at night? We need All right, man. Well, look, if you guys want to holler tomorrow, man, just hit me up. But I'm willing to make another show. We can get on the round table and chop it up.
All right, for sure.
Sound good.
Some people.
All right, yo.